In this video, we'll be hunting a box of nickels. We'll be looking for any older nickels from before 1960, including war nickels, buffaloes, or anything older. We'll also be looking for any foreigns, proofs, heirs of varieties, or any other cool things that we can find. We're going to start on roll number 1 right here, which is actually an ender. Has a 1946 nickel showing, so I'll open the roll and see if there's anything else with it, and that's a great way to start the hunt. Just opened roll number 1, and we do have this 1946 ender right here, which is minted in Philly, and then a few coins later, I see a second year 1939 nickel. Looks like it's in decent shape. If it has a mint mark, it's a key date. Unfortunately, it has no mint mark, and based on what I can see, it's not the DDR, but still, 1946 and 1939, the first roll, that's a great sign. Same roll, and I just uncovered another 1939 nickel. 2 30's nickels in the first roll. That's pretty amazing. Hopefully this one has a mint mark. And it doesn't, but it's in decent shape like the first one, and I'll check it for the DDR. I don't even know what's going on with this box. Roll number 2, just opened it. We have a 1938 first year Jefferson right here. 3 30's nickels in the first 2 rolls. This one has a mint mark, it's a key date. Oh my gosh, and it is. That's a 1938S key date nickel found in roll number 2. 3 30's nickels, one's a key date. I'm excited for this box. Roll 5, and we have another nickel from the 40's. It's a pretty worn 1941 out of Philly. Next roll, another 40's nickel. This one's a 1947 Philadelphia. Next roll, and we have another older Jefferson, and it's our first from the 50's. And it's a 1953, minted in Philly. We're only on roll number 8, and we're already going to have finds numbers 8 and 9 of the hunt. 2 more from the 40's. First is a pretty decent condition, 1941 out of Philly. And then the next is a 1949 that's also from Philly. Next roll, and the finds continue. First up is our 4th nickel from the 30's already. Another 1939 out of Philly. It's not the DDR, I already checked. Then the next one is a 1958 out of Denver. Roll 10, we have yet another find. This one is a 1956 out of Denver with some gunk on it. Roll 12. And we have another 1946 Philly. Roll 14, and we have our first nickel from 1942. Sadly, it's not a silver, but it's out of Philly. Roll 19, had a couple more finds. First is another 1942 nickel, but it's not silver, and just like the other one, it's out of Philly. And also a 1957 out of Denver. Roll 21, had a few more older Jeffersons. First, we have 2 1947s. And they're both out of Philly. And lastly, we have a 1955 out of Denver. Roll 22, just like roll 21, has 3 finds. First is a 1941 out of San Francisco. Second is a 1948 Philly. And third is a 1957 Denver. Roll 26, and we have another 50's nickel. And this one is a 1954 minted in Denver. Roll 30 produced a couple of 1957 nickels, and they're actually right next together in the roll. They're both in pretty good shape, and one's a Philly and one's a Denver. Roll 33 was another good roll, because first we had our 5th 30's nickel, 1939 out of Philly once again, not the DDR, but still a good find. Next we have a pretty worn 1940, it's out of San Francisco, and then we have another 1955 out of Denver. Roll 42, and we have another 40's nickel. And this one is another 1941 out of San Francisco. Roll 45, another nickel from the 50's, and this one's 1959 out of Denver. Last roll, and the box is going to end just like it started, with a 1939 nickel. This one's another Philly, but it's not the DDR, but still a good find, and a nice way to end the hunt. Now let's go on to the wrap-up. Nickel box has been hunted, so let's go over the finds. We got 9 estimates, no foreigns, but 1 2009. Don't remember the last time I got a box with no foreigns. I don't know if I ever have. And then older Jeffersons, we ended up getting 31, most at the beginning of the box. The box started off hot and kind of cooled down, but still a good box, including 6 in the 30's, 5 of which were just common 1939 Phillies. And then 1 was the best find of the box, a 1938 San Francisco key date. Even though we got no war nickels or buffaloes, still a good box with the amount of older Jeffersons, especially on the key date.